As they were awarding me the Chairwoman Award in the New York City, and they were reading my profile, they were reading things that I've done. It is all these pieces that I'm giving to you. It is a choice. We were many who sat under this leadership. I chose to be rooted. I chose to lower myself. I chose to be pruned because I did not want to be born out of a mentor's life as grass. As you get to choose what you want to become, choices, decisions, determines your destiny, says my mother. We decided, took our children. Today, the very Tamanya who was at Libala Basic School, she now has double major in accounts and economics. They were fighting for her at PwC, Price Water and Shannon, or whatever. You know, this is a girl whose standards were dropped at one time. Through mentorship, we were taught, relax a little bit. I don't know where you are finding yourself. I don't know what is going on in your life. I'm a testimony. I'm a testimony of digging into a relationship and getting what belongs to you. Amen. I'm not leaving you until I get what belongs to me. I'm not going to come out of this place as grass. I'm not going to come out of this place as shrub. I am going to be rooted. And I'm not going to be a potted plant. As this is going on, there are so many things that begin to happen because now people begin to laugh at you. Because as a tree, you are not showing fruit immediately. And then before you even show fruit, a season has changed. You are dry again. Hey, what type of Jesus are you worshiping? How come there's nothing to show for it? How come now you are brown? We saw a bit of green like you are happening. We saw you on TV a little bit and then are you seeing what I'm saying here? Because the season of the tree is marked by the right season. And whatever experiences the tree goes through, it is part of its becoming. Because when you now begin to set yourself to become the brand that God intended for you to become, the other fruits, guava fruits, are different from mango fruits. Avocado fruits are different from, are you get what I'm saying? Even the times they mature takes long. So even when I made the decision to go back to school, I'd already finished having children. And I remember having a conversation with my husband. I want to go improve myself. I want to become that which God said I am. And that time, no money, no this, whatever was going on, it is brown leaves. The season has wasted you. Reading, waking up in the night when other people are snoring. There is no leaf to show that there is actually a tree here. But you know what? The same leaves that have been falling because of the situations you've been going through, they become manure. They become manure. It is those lessons of life. It is those things that you go through. It is those challenges that become manure. When I look back, I see the promise I made. I will become so that I can rescue many. I will become so that I can change many lives. If he can pay for me to go to South Africa, I want to pay for many. If he can pay for school fees for many students going to Victory Bible School, we would all contribute. Sometimes we'd be made to contribute because we forgot to switch off the lights. Who saw this light? Oh, Mrs. K, you saw it? Okay. So why did you switch it off? Because what the time? Did you pay the bills in this office? No. So why couldn't you switch it off? Because it's supposed to be the helper who's supposed to, failing to take responsibility. Because responsibility is ability to respond. So because you didn't take responsibility, you are going to pay 500. You don't even have that 500. That time I think it was 5 million times in God's fund. Hey, Jesus, help me. Because they are students. You want to teach us morals of how you need to be a part of your leader and what they are doing. As we are thinking it's a punishment, but I was a little wiser than many students in that class because I didn't take responsibility. Now I've got to take another level of responsibility by being part of the assignments that he's doing. Not that he failed to pay the school fees for them, but he wanted to open my mind to show that if God has blessed you, whatever you have, lift another life. There are so many people, if you haven't seen them, to say thank you. It's all right. But let me tell you, I was part of a group of pastors who were being punished. I think he was leaving some things careless so that if we don't take responsibility, we pay to participate. We're paying for many students, school fees. Are those even his children? No. I'm talking about biological children. No. Are they his brothers and sisters? No. By taking the responsibility to add value to their intellect, to add value to what they need to become, and would contribute. Next time, what do you think I'll do when I get into his office? To check if lights are off, to check if the floor is clean, to check if the toilet is clean, and because do I want to be punished? No. This time I'm wiser. That is growth. Because the level at which the root ended, when there is a rock, the root doesn't give up and say, there is a rock. So you tree up there, please, me kunona fireka. There is a problem here. What? No, the root still gravitates to find a solution until finds the water. Those were the lessons of life. Those were the lessons of life. There were people who never brought books. We borrowed, but me, I made sure I brought. Jesus knows me. That one, do you want to land in his hands? I brought back the books. I brought back the books. But there's this Christian spirit, I don't know it's a demon. You borrow a book. It's even got the name of the owner of the book, and you don't want to return. So many lessons of life that we're going through as we were developing into this tree. As I was becoming this version you can look at that has walked the corridors of power. This woman you are looking at has gone through training and still is going through training. If I told you what I was supposed to be doing now, I would have refused to come here. I've got an assignment that is due at 17. I had to cancel a Zoom call because when he called, the moment he called, anything else will wait. That's a relationship I have with him. You may not see me often here, but I've got a unique relationship with him. That is mentorship. You never bend bridges. Because as you are growing and you're becoming, and the fruit begin to shoot out, you don't get to choose who comes to pluck the fruit. You don't get to choose who comes to sit under that tree. You don't get to choose which bird must sit on you. And every day we've duplicated the things that we learned. You can come to our church. My husband, Bishop, he still stands by the door to welcome everybody that is working in the church. We are the earliest. If it's not the Mzieches, who are the senior pastors in the church, we went through the same drill, it's us who are next. The lessons of life. When your root is deeply rooted, all you begin to bring out are fruit in season. Because your roots are always staying in word. And all the time, you are just yielding fruit. And other people would come. And I've seen people come in his life, insult and go. And he has continued. And I've seen people come in my life, insult and go. And I've continued moving on. That's our lessons of life. You focus on the goal. You focus on what God has called you and keep on moving. Now, finally, you see, I have even failed to open. I prepared my slides. I just wanted to show off that I've got a MacBook, and like my mentor, I'm also educated. I have lessons prepared, just like my mentor. But I apologize. I couldn't really stick to share what I had prepared. I think I just felt a different lead in my spirit. But finally, as I'm concluding, let me now quickly just tell you on how now to remain afloat. When you are now born, when your idea has now been birthed, what will keep you in the market? What will make you remain even when other competitors arise? It is important for you to understand you need to define you or define your brand. Define it. Let people know by that definition, what are you? What are you called to do? So when you are asked, within a second, what can you say? I'm not a motivational speaker. I am a transformational speaker. I'm a destiny rescuer and destiny shaper. I'm a strategist and consultant. That is how I have worked to define who I am. But you can tell, you can actually go back and get the needle with cotton, and you can see where I'm coming from. That this has been from beginning, but it was never defined properly. It was never beautified. And you've got to. Whatever you are, wherever you were born, whatever has happened, it is part of the definition of who you are. The reason I went through what I went through, the reason I observed women losing themselves, it is because today I'm a marriage expert. God wanted me to be a marriage expert. You come to me, there are principles God has helped me to develop to help you to become. To be a happy single woman, I have tailored all that. Because whichever life, wherever I could have been found, married or single, I could have still made it. Because I understood one thing. Purpose comes first, marriage later. And if you don't understand that when God was saying be fruitful, multiply, he was not talking to a married person. He was talking to you at purpose level. Then you will stop all these prayer requests of marriage, because the very thing you're looking for confuses you. And then you want divorce. So you define yourself. The second thing, when you've defined yourself, describe. Description. So if you've made a definition, now it needs to carry a profile to describe who is this transformational speaker. Who is this Dr. Nelly Kango? So the moment you see me, that is why maybe if I tell you, close your eyes, Benny Hinn, what comes to your mind? Oprah Winfrey, what comes to your mind? That is what I'm talking about, where there's a description that is attached to the definition. Even when people come to me in my office, they know. I ask them, which Nelly part are you looking for? Because I'm a one-stop shop. Which part of me are you looking for? Are you looking for a pastor? I'm here. Are you looking for a consultant? I'm here. Because I understood my gift makes money. What God put, now this is a part I did not have. I had this quite okay. I had the spiritual aspect quite sorted. I did not understand how to actualize it to create wealth. And that is why God causes you and draws you to people who can come and add value to that aspect. I already had it because I used to sell sweets, sweet in Balala at school. I used to sell all those. But I never knew that my talking actually can bring money. I never knew. All they used to do is clap at school. They would just clap. Oh, Nelly, wow. Who wants to give a vote of thanks? Me, teacher, me. You can. My name is Nelly Langwe. You talk, they clap. I'm 13 years old. Oh, there's a competition to do memory verses. I'm not sure you're Esther chapter 1 verse 1. And I'm talking and I'm going. All the chapters of Esther. And I go, hey! She has won a trophy. I didn't know that actually packaging it properly, adding a description to this will be monetized. I didn't know. No teacher taught me. There was nothing like that in the curriculum. All they told me is read biology, count how many legs a mosquito has, and then do this, and they examined me from that. Yet I'm a natural trainer. I'm a natural speaker. I come up with concepts. I come up with things that I can train, but there was no curriculum like that. That is how God raises people in your life to find you. But the description, they will give you tools, but you've got to describe yourself. Because they are not, you are not them. You are the one. They will give you tools, but you have to get in. Using the tools, go and fish. Using the net, go and fish. It's not them to describe. The next thing that must happen when you've now described yourself, you need to start distributing yourself. Distribution. Distribution has to do with even the scripture that talks about feeding the earth. To fill the earth, you have to add the expertise, the skill. This is why the chicken in the fridge is just a chicken and abides alone. The potatoes on the rack, they are just potatoes on the rack. KFC comes and says, give me that chicken. I'm going to add skill. I'm going to add expertise to it. To today, he's in the grave, making money out of the chicken you have in your fridge. He is making money out of the potatoes rotting on your rack. Because that command is in each of you. To fill the earth. That is now adding skill. I don't have to be in Canada. I don't have to be in the USA. My book is there. The YouTube, somebody yesterday was asking me about the things that they're going through. I just gave them the link to my YouTube channel, Dr. Nelly Kangwa TV. Go there, watch. When you are finished, this Christianity of fire, fall down, and that we are dishing is long gone. Go listen. When you are done, then let's talk. Check out for this title, check out for this title, check out for this title. You know what? I'm distributing myself. And in that distribution, money comes. You know money? You've got to say it in Nigerian way. That's when it sounds nice. Money. This hour that I'm standing, I have stood before at ESCOM just to tell them in South Africa, to tell them how to work properly. You know, they call it team building, eh? They invite you in South Africa business class with a Benz waiting for you outside. They are opening the doors for you. You come out for 1 hour to go and tell them, work nicely. You, the boss, work nicely with this other one, and then you print a few slides there, and then they do activities. When I'm coming out, $1,000 in my account. Ta-ding. Because of distribution, you now learn how to distribute yourself. Are you understanding? Yes. But do you know that what will cause you to distribute a little more than a local champion? It's when you learn to internationalize your brand. And internationalizing your brand has to do with you now being disrupted. You've got to be disrupted in life. Something has to happen that has to make you to get disrupted in order for you to increase your distribution, which causes you to dominate the space. You dominate your space in that industry. You become an expert, because when you add value to your gift, it brings worth. And when you manage the worth, you create the wealth. which brings a legacy. You won't be scared to face death, because beyond the tombstone, your voice will still be speaking. Because you've done what needs to be done. I'm still a project under construction. I'm still being mentored. I'm still learning. But see you at the top. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you very much, Mom, for your encouragement. And I would like to find out, you are a wife, first of all, a mother, and you do what you do. How do you balance that time? How do you just manage? Because you move a lot from mother, you move internationally. How do you just work it out? Because I think those are the limiting factors to a lot of women.
Okay. That question has come 1 million times. People ask me if I've got 48 hours in a day. I've got only 24 hours. Okay? This is how I've come to answer the question. You can't balance family and work life. But that's what you'll find on Google. I found my own explanation. You can never balance. Balance only comes in when you give focus to whatever it is that is priority at that particular time. What do I mean? When I come in the marketplace, okay, I've come in the marketplace now, right now, to encourage you to build, because I don't know what will become of you after this teaching. I've given it my best, I believe. I've given it my whole, I believe. And as I have given it my whole, when I come here, of course, I've got other things that I'm doing. But watch this. I'm going to go home. I left home, by the way. Let me begin from there, because I teach from boardroom to bedroom. You need to listen to some of the teaching that I do, boardroom to bedroom. Before I left home, when I woke up in the morning, I began to sort out the kitchen already, because I do some of the prayers whilst I'm cutting onions. Sometimes I need that level of concentration. Sometimes I've learned also to come out of the gymnastics of Pentecostalism to think like God has to hear me when I'm just in a certain posture. I've understood that God knows why He gave me a husband, why He gave me 3 lovely children that I'm supposed to still have hands on. So I cook with these nails. I also wash my husband's clothes. Okay? So, in the morning, this is morning, Ellen can bear witness because we're together. Kitchen I already sorted, I'd already put some relish. Then at 6, we were exercising for 30 minutes on Zoom. I train a group of people to look beautiful and, at all time, and look healthy. So what I was dealing with in the morning for me to train is not just for me to stand here long hours. It's also that when I go home in the night, because my cardio, my heart has been, pumped and all that, because I'm not married to my grandfather. We shouldn't go too far there. We talk about such things when we're in some enclosure. Because my husband is not my grandfather. So he doesn't understand this tiredness, that I'm tired. You follow me? So, as I'm here, I give it my whole. But I've already told you what I've done at home when I left. Everything is cooked. And I'm not exaggerating. You can go to my house right now. The only thing that my helper will do is make the nshima. That's what my helper will do. My helper, for 28 years now, has never entered my bedroom. I make my bed myself. It's just, I want to remain relevant, because the fact that God is blessing me in the marketplace doesn't change my feminine aspect. Doesn't change that I'm a wife. Doesn't change that I'm a woman. So I've still left some things for me to remain in control. So the bedroom, I'm in control. I change bed sheets, they are white. I've got, I think, 18 pairs of white bed sheets every day. That's the reason I bought a washing machine, is to keep that room looking the best. You know what I'm doing? balancing, but you haven't seen it because you want to read it on Google. Okay? You want to read it on. The fact that I left my bedroom like that, I had a touch in the kitchen, gave my husband some breakfast. Do you see what I've done? I've already, in 2 hours, I have contributed to my being a wife, being a mother from the house. But also, I haven't forgotten myself. That's why I exercised. Because you do not forget who you are and bury your head in marriage. You need to remember it. So me, I'm number one when it comes to everything that happens to my life. And so, when I go home, after a heavy day, after the assignments I'm supposed to be submitting, after there's so many people I'll be meeting and the Zoom calls that I'm going to be having, when I go home, when I reach the gates of my house, I begin to prepare my mind. I'm not in the marketplace. I am now at home, and there's a king at home, and I'm the vice. Heels out, watches out, to get my mind to participate in every department of my home. And I participate, I'm not exaggerating, I participate in the kitchen, I participate in the sitting room, priority and quality. So that quality is not quantity. As they were playing the game yesterday, like my mentor, I'm Arsenal for life. My husband is Man U. So in our house, I also have a jersey. Arsenal for life. Are you seeing what is going on here? Do I really love soccer like crazy, like what? I have to force myself to be part of the social life of my husband. So you should see me. Hey, you, this one, but so on. What's happening? You know, ever since we changed the manager, look what is going on now. 10 minutes, I'm there, I have participated like I was there 90 minutes. And I know which team is doing what, which whatever. You know what, there is Google now. Which team is leading? Which what you Google, you send your husband something to say, did you see what happened? This player has been sold. It's just 2 minutes, I talk to my husband, this player has been sold. He thinks I'm so intelligent when it comes to soccer. Are you getting what I'm saying? So, there is no balance. There is prioritization and giving everything you are doing your whole. Everything that you're doing, give it your whole. When you go home, go give your whole. If you're married in the bedroom, go give it your whole. Because that man is not your grandfather. And the pain of nursing adultery is worse than the pain of nursing you to be relevant in marriage. It's a topic for another day. Yes.
I think I'll say thank you first and foremost. I said this to Pastor yesterday, and I'll say it to you as well. You have confused me in a very good way. The first question I have is, especially in this society, for those of us who are raised up mostly in the Pentecostal churches,
Yes.
how does one get to choose a mentor? Because you find simply because you are under this man of God, you can't get a mentor outside, because they tell you, why should you go and get a mentor when I'm here? So how does one get to choose a mentor? Then secondly, you talked about a time when things just went to the worst. At that particular time, coming from you at this level and then things just go down, what was the driving force? What is it that made you keep going at that particular time?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a powerful question. How do you get to choose a mentor? There are times when a mentor can choose you, there are times when you can choose a mentor. And it has to do with you knowing what is inside of you. When I saw what was inside of me, I looked out, okay, in prayer. Number one, it was prayer. Number two, it was also in the physical. I opened my eyes. Who will reach me where I'm going? Who can help me interpret my confusion? I'm too confused right now. I don't know what I'm supposed to become. So apart from prayer, which the Holy Spirit leads you, but also physically you've got to make application to that. And you need to understand your position. I understand it very well, especially if you are sitting under a certain type of leadership. They may actually stop you from getting mentorship somewhere else. Well, with prayer again and proper guidance, you may want to know that a primary school teacher is very, very important in your life. They taught you 1 + 1, but let me tell you, you may actually need a professor to get you to understand how to write a thesis. Okay? And so, the fact that you have found a professor does not mean insult the primary school teacher, because at a certain stage of your life, they were very important. You needed them to show you how to read the A, E, O, U. You needed them. And please do not insult them. Do not think they are lower. It's just that at that particular time, you need a professor for you to understand how to do some research. Because what you need for your university, what you need to start MBA is different from what you need in grade 5. So you may have to properly, with a humble heart, say your goodbye to get to where you're going. After all, it's your life. Yeah, but live properly. To answer the next question, when you've understood, you've seen that this person has something. The example I can give to you is the example between Elisha and Elijah. You read it in the book of 2 Kings chapter number 2. So they get to the place called Gilgal. That is the first place. And Elijah said, stay here. I don't need to go with you. Now, what is the place Gilgal? Gilgal is a place where, they were circumcised. You read it from the book of Joshua chapter 5. You know where I'm getting all these my revelations are? Yes. So you get it from Joshua chapter 5. They reach that particular place and, Joshua is given an instruction, circumcise. Now, when you reach in the presence of a mentor, the first place you need to reach is Gilgal. Circumcise yourself. Remove the skin that you know it all. Be naked, be transparent. Expose yourself if you like. Everything, the skin that you knew, whatever it is that you knew, remove it because you need new knowledge. You need new understanding. They go to the place Bethel, the place of covenant, where you get to understand a different level of your mentor. You get to the next place, it's a place called it's a Jericho, a place of obedience. These are levels of relationship that you are finding in your mentor's life. When they reach Jericho, the Bible says, you know what? The fights they were having, they fought Shihon, they fought Og. Jericho was a different story. So in the life of your mentor, there are different places you get to. There are times, because you've gone through Gilgal, you've gone through Bethel, there are times where the word of your mentor, all it needs is yes, sir. You are just, it's not making sense. Because when I see the wall of Jericho, really, me going 7 times, it will make sense. Sir, at your word, you reach that level where you don't question because you have gotten to Bethel, a place where Jacob had the revelation, where angels were descending and ascending. There is an altar, you've understood, you've gotten a revelation, you've known, this is it. So obedience, I'll just obey. Leave North Mid, yes sir. We will go to Kapata. Remove your children from private schools, yes sir. Is not making sense? To an extent where my son was refusing to step on the ground. Because where we were, it had cement. Now where we went, it was soil everywhere. I don't want to step on the ground. I don't want to step on the ground. Jesus, have you forsaken us? Then at school, it's 40. They come from a school where they were 20. 40, filled up. What do you do? Jericho. I'm here. I'm under obedience. Whatever is going on here. So it is it's posture of your heart. You know, they come, the sons of the prophets, they'll come to discourage you. But it's posture. There are times you need to shut them up. Shut up. Don't you know he's going, shut up. I know what is going on. And then you know what happened eventually. What do you want me to do for you? Double portion. And I said, You've asked a hard thing. But when you see me go, you have it. That is following with observation. You are observing everything that is going on. Because at this particular time, you have to catch it. This thing, fire, doesn't happen. You've got to catch. Chariots of fire, what? You should have gotten into the drama. Do you understand? Mentors can go through drama of life, their own situations. But if you begin to watch the chariots and the whirlwind, you will miss. Because they go things, situations, physical, what that are fighting them. Focus is what you went there for. And the Bible says, and he saw it. When you see me go, you have it. But Elisha saw it. Posture, you see it, and you get hold. And you get hold of that. And when you get hold of that, you know what happened when he was returning? God of Elijah. Show up. Let me tell you, when mentorship has affected your life, it's like a tattoo. You can refuse it, but like a tattoo. I'm tattooed. When it comes to mentorship, I have people in my life, I don't count this hand. Just this hand is enough. Why you are confused, you've got too many. Some of you, you finished these, now you are by your legs. Too many people speaking into your life. I don't have too many. It's decision. So I hope I've answered your question. Yes.
Thank you so much. I've got just 3 questions. The first one, you talked about culture and tradition. And Pastor Jay has been talking about severing yourself from that umbilical cord because it's what binds us. So, as we, the upcoming generation, how do we change the culture and tradition of the past, which is still today, for a new generation and the future? And secondly, who decides whether you are ready to go when you are with your mentor? Is it yourself because people can say, oh no, I had encounters or whatever and I feel it's the time? Is it you who decides to go, or is it going to be Pastor J who says, okay, Akim, you're ready to now leave? And then thirdly is what is this? Before I answer that one, maybe
Baton. Okay, so culture and tradition. Okay, culture and tradition, very powerful question. Now, what we've seen is that where we are at, we're in the 21st century. A lot of things have actually changed. Now, you've got to understand what culture is stopping you from becoming what you're supposed to become. For example, what I told you, like as a girl child, you're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be doing this. That is culture, isn't it? Okay, what has happened is I've got a washing machine. Even if the culture of me shining has changed, I've got now towels. So what has happened is that there are a lot of things that have actually been innovated. The culture that needs to change is a culture that makes you not to become what you're supposed to be. For example, as a woman, culture tells you you are for the kitchen. That is what culture will tell you. That you are just supposed to satisfy your husband, and so learn how to wriggle your waist, and then learn this. Now, when you look at that culture, it is a retrogressive culture. Now, changing culture is not about change culture. It is about mindset. That is how I've come to understand, because a statement can be written about we've changed this, but if people's worldview hasn't changed, people will be reading a statement, but their mind, okay, would still be the same. I wrote a post on Facebook. When I was 8 years, I still heard the same story, the girl talking about how she's failing to become because the husband did this to her, the husband cheated on her, now she's depressed, now her emotions are bruised, now she doesn't know what to do and everything. I'm doing that session actually this afternoon on Instagram at 5. Now, today, 40 years later, I'm still hearing a woman saying those same things. Hasn't the narrative changed? The words have changed, but mindset. I'm still seeing a director failing to go to work because she saw a WhatsApp in her husband's phone. Now, those are things that we need to start addressing within ourselves and begin to change the worldview. The filters, if we don't clean the filters of our minds, we will see something, but we shall interpret it based on our what we call the Baton, our internal representation. We will interpret something based on the inside. What we are told. Okay? We were told looking at people in the eye is lack of respect. Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay? But in coaching, when I'm coaching you, I have to maintain an eye contact. And I will know, because through lie detection that I've done, I can tell you are lying. By how you are answering the questions, by your eye movements, by your physiology, by everything. Are you getting what I'm saying? So such things have to do with mindset. You want your life to change. Change, increase your standards. That's what I said. Change your standards or upgrade your standards. Change your beliefs. And the beliefs are to do with, poverty is mine. I never used to be, when Pastor Jao would talk about these things, this guy, you have money. This poverty, you'd like to be like this. I was looking at him, what is he talking about? He's like fooling us. What is it? Until I changed my mindset. Because you know what, in Sunday school, they told me, money, I remembered this vividly, that when I have money, I'll go to hell. That is what I was taught in Sunday school. Then a few people who owned stores in Baton were all witches. All of them were suspects. One of them lost an 8-year-old. We gathered to pray that he has killed his own child at church. Then we were told why their shop is so clean and why, you find things are lined up on the shelves. That's the same child comes in the night to put things nicely on the shelves. Do I want to have money? No. But then I'm praying, money, I claim, I do. My mindset hasn't yet been clean. So how I relate with money, when I give you $100, what comes to you? Bureau. Immediately, bureau. When money now comes, when $100 comes to me now, I invest it. I've got a dollar account. You know what? Because I know. Even if you haven't traveled, my friend, start thinking as though you've gotten on a plane. Are you getting what I'm saying? Start rehearsing as though you've gotten there. Because it has to do with your set of rules that you have. So there are certain cultural idiosyncrasies that make you not to actually get into your future. So you can be born again, and die very poor born again. Because of those cultural, things that we've been learning. So really for me, what I usually deal with when it comes to culture and tradition, I tell people to say, look, even if I can go before Alangis, they teach me and all, the whole thing that I pick from there is that I really need to stabilize in my marriage. I really need to. So the reason why I don't allow my helper to enter my room, it is not because of what Alangis told me. It's just that I just want to add a certain value and innovative idea to my husband. Are you getting what I'm saying? So I have shifted from this culture of being the one who has what. No. I've interpreted it with a change in mind. My mind is different when I'm making the bed. I pray because that's a union place with me and my husband. That's why I have fellowship. Are you getting what I'm saying? So I've shifted from slavery mentality of a woman, make the bed, clean your bedroom, what. That is a slavery mentality. I'm now this particular. So I've changed in the way I view things. And anything that is retrogressive, I don't subscribe to it. Anything that is pulling me from where I'm supposed to be doesn't add value to me. I move away from it, and by association. What was the second question? Because I think I've gotten carried away. Who determines? Okay, so I'll give you my personal answer. Okay, so when you are moving and you are under this mentorship, I don't know what you call living. What is living? Going where? Okay, I'm going to explain. You are living, going where? Because this thing, there is no living. Okay? There is no living. So who determines your transitioning? It's basically transitioning to do something, in another way, or, for you to have a certain brand that is working. For me, I reported to church. I went to church. I was sitting. In my mind, there was no living. If you know what I'm saying. I've never thought of living a mentor. If you know what I'm saying. Because I think I chose right mentors. If you choose the wrong one, leave. Yeah. Leave quickly. Like quickly. But in my case, I was growing. Everything that was happening in my life, I was evolving. I was happening. So there was no living. My parents are late. But even when I got married, I did not leave them. If you know what I'm saying. They still remained my parents. Except now I'm married and I'm building my own home. And I was sitting that particular day, I didn't even know what was going to befall me. And my name was called. My husband was not even in church that day. This guy come here. God said, time to start a church. Where is the bottle of oil? 750 meals on me. Up to now, the dress is still there. You can't wash it. The oil can't come out. Go, the Lord says, this. I'm glad that's how God, that's a poster of my heart. I never, the journey in a relationship, when I am under mentorship, I realize that my mentor, I've walked with my mentor at Gilgo, I've walked with my mentor at Bethel, I've walked with my mentor at Jericho. I believe for me to walk all this, I trust them. Why should it be at the same time now I can't trust them? That they will know what is happening in my life. Why at a certain time when the midwife is telling me push, I'm like, no, you are setting me. All this time, whenever I went there, examined, you are 6 months, I believed. You are now, I believe. Now time comes where it is me who knows. And my midwife doesn't know. So you want me to look up? I'm sorry. I'm going to turn this side because that's what I'm hearing. The pain inside of me is telling me I must be sleeping on my side. Where does that? Usually that comes in when rebellion walks in, especially if you're a right person. Now, I need to qualify this. When you are with the right person, because there are many times you can be with the wrong person. And you call them your mentor because they said something in a deep voice, and you say that is somebody I'm sitting under. But when you are the right person and the person really hears God, you will wait until instructions are clear. This is why I haven't left. There is no leaving. Because I still receive, I still watch, I still am present in different things. I'm learning at all times. I can walk in this place anytime. And nobody can question me because I haven't left. I haven't left. It is when prematurely you do things in the wrong way that now you even get scared to go back. Because that person helped you to be where you are. So if you live with that attitude, what happens? You can't even go back. But usually you can go back because let me tell you, whether you've messed up, just go and say, sir, I got too excited. Yeah, I got too excited. Here I am. Can we relate again? And let me tell you, a leader's heart will still embrace you. the leaders have to embrace you, because there are many voices that come along the way, and you can mess up along the way. Who hasn't? But it's just for you to position yourself, and you can still go back.
Last question. If, for an example, you've stepped out before your time, prematurely, how do you
get back
into the womb? And, if so to speak.
Just show up, go there, and just say, explain yours. You know, assumptions are the ones that make us to think otherwise. If this person really is a leader and God has raised them in your life, when you go back, explain yourself and say, look, I messed up. There's a story in the Bible about the prodigal son. Yeah? You just go back, I messed up. Now you need to understand, are you going back in the womb? What is it that, when you are going back, is it to go back? You know, the reason why we miss these things, we think churchy building. You know, we think these four walls. Okay? So I hope when I'm answering, you are understanding beyond what you are just hearing. So when you are saying you are going back, the going back doesn't mean again you start ushering. So for example, if I left in a bad way and then I want to come back to him, doesn't mean I'll need to come now and be in the choir. It's to come back to relate with him. It's to come back to learn what I did not learn, or whatever it is that is going on. And that is, I'm back. But I may not be in the choir like I used to. I may not be in the ushering. But there are some who may need to do that. So you need to understand at what level are you going back. You've got to define. And you know, it's you. This life is about you. So when you define and you say, you know what, going back, I want to go and start from cleaning the toilet. That's what the prodigal son said. And then the father said, I know at what level you need to be. It's this. So it's you, the person who has to understand, when I'm going back, is it to relate? Is it for me to go and sit in their church? Is it for me to go and have a conversation, and it will lead by what it is that is going on in your life? Yeah. We done? Okay, that's the last question.
I just want to thank you for availing yourself to us, for giving us your experience as young as you were. Many times we don't realize that what we go through to build up to something. Your informing us of what has been going on in your journey has provoked a lot of thoughts in my heart, what I've gone through, and that if I was to share and build on it, I would become somebody one day. So it has given me a thought, and my journey starts from now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll come again.